What's scarier than ghosts and other phenomena we can feel while standing on Earth? Space. Wait, what? Space? Yes, you heard it right. The fear of the unknown is what makes space more horrifying. More than the asteroids coming towards the Earth and colossal mass ejections of the Sun, there is the fear of when asteroids will hit the planet, or when the CME will mess with the signal. Even if experts continue to discover something about it every day, it will always be one step ahead. We can never fully know the universe, like how we know the taste of our favorite coffee or how the couch feels after a long, tiring day. Because if you also think about it, wouldn't it be boring to know everything? Isn't knowing deep inside that there will be so many more jump scares much more exciting? Not jump scares that will make us have a heart attack, though. Just facts about space that will make us slightly jump from our chairs and spill our morning coffee. In today's episode of Cosmic Chronicles, we will lay down the 10 scariest space facts you have probably never heard of. Don't forget to subscribe to Science Times to be notified whenever a new science video is up on our channel. Let's get into it. If you are not good with directions, you should skip a trip to space. Astronauts are exempted because they've been trained to do so. Number 1 scary fact about space is that no GPS exists there. What would you do if you got lost? Experts say you will have no choice but to go with the flow, literally, accepting that you are lost forever, floating in the vast darkness would be best. Your misery might end much faster, though. Let's say an asteroid hit you right in the face. It's also not a good way to die, right? But at least it ended your misery with you drifting away along with other space debris. What do you think? Besides, even if you scream at the top of your lungs, no one can hear your desperate plea in space. So why bother wasting your energy? Scary fact number 2 is that because there is no place for the molecules that generate sound waves through vibration to travel to space, like water, air, or wood, you cannot hear anything. Sure, there might be a point in your life where you want to shut the world out, but this is different. Life and death are at stake here, rather than just putting your headphones on and turning the volume at max. The large empty spaces in our universe do not have a space for sound vibration in a way like how we hear sound on Earth. Imagine this. Space debris is coming toward you, and you are unaware of it because of the deafening silence. It would be a bummer. Or you'll die for an entirely different reason. Let's say your space unit was scratched on your way out of the space shuttle. You might not know it, but there begins the countdown on your life. Slowly, you will face decompression. You realize that indeed you are slowly being exposed to the vacuum of space, but it's too late. And before you can even react and try to get back inside the space shuttle as fast as possible, your body exploded inside your suit already. For the third scary space fact, the moisture and oxygen inside the body of an astronaut gets sucked out once exposed to space, specifically to the vacuum in space. The astronaut melts and shrinks into nothing in an instant. But let's move on to a larger scale. For the fourth scary space fact, did you know that an unknown force much bigger than the whole universe can pull entire galaxies all at once? According to experts, approximately 150 to 250 million light years away from the Milky Way is a space anomaly called the Great Attractor, with a gravitational pull so powerful that it can make entire galaxies collapse into each other. The force is frightening. What baffles the experts is that there's not even enough mass around it to execute that solid gravitational pull. But what they are sure of is that the Milky Way is on a crash course, which will probably happen in a few billion years from now. Luckily for those watching this, we would have left the Earth billions of years before the crash. So cheer up a little. The following scary space fact is that when the said crash happens and Andromeda, which is the largest galaxy, double the diameter of the Milky Way, collides with the latter, it will dominate the night sky. This means that during nighttime, we will only see darkness. There will be complete and utter darkness with no stars and light from the moon. Fear not, because even if the Andromeda is on a terrifying trajectory, we would have to wait for roughly around 3 to 5 billion years. Again, we would have died many times by that time. Or you might have reincarnated as a cat hundreds of times. But would it ease the fear of experiencing complete darkness when you learn that there is a star 1,000 times bigger than our sun? Yikes, I don't think so. Scary space fact number 6. The VY Canis Majoris can be considered a titan among stars, including ours. Sure, if the collision between Andromeda and Milky Way happens, this big of a star might prevent complete darkness during the night. It would be scary, though. They say that it would take a plane about 1,100 Earth years to orbit the said star once. And if we were to replace the red giant with the Titanic star, its surface would have reached the orbit of Saturn. Oh, Saturn will indeed not like that kind of invasion. Not only that, but imagine that big of a sun producing coronal mass ejections. Indeed, it will reach and even destroy completely the Earth's magnetosphere. It's not the kind of invasion we want either. Scary space fact number 7 is that in 2012, a powerful CME was produced by the sun. It hit the Stereo A spacecraft, lessening its impact on Earth. Experts say that if it hit the planet a week earlier, humans would have suffered the consequences until today. That would be horror, especially now that access to the internet has become necessary, that not having access can slow down and affect one's daily life. So the Titanic star should stay where it is, or even farther away from us. For the 8th scary space fact, according to experts, the moon is slowly getting farther away from the Earth by about 1.5 inches every year. Everything can drift apart from us, but not the moon. You don't have to worry if it's because of something you did, or when you blame the moon when you didn't get what you want. So much for talking about reaching for the stars and moon, right? It's a natural occurrence, believe me. And when the moon reaches a point where it can no longer make the Earth a more livable planet, you're not here anymore. It would take billions of years yet again. From there, you might think we could live on Mars or any other planet. But remember what I said about thinking twice before deciding to go out in outer space? Do that again. For scary space fact number 9, did you know that one day on Venus is incredibly long? When I say long, like more than a year long. It is extremely low in rotation and takes 243 Earth days to complete one rotation on its axis. When that happens, a year has passed, as it takes only 225 Earth days for Venus to revolve around the sun. Imagine living on a planet where a day is longer than a year. Wouldn't it make you question it too? Sometimes a day on Earth seems so long. What if a day on Earth lasts that long? Can you live on a planet where day and night stretches for about 120 days each? I say let's just stay here on Earth. Don't you think so? Safe from longer days and a planet where it rains glass? Yes, piercing glass. And you know what's worse? It rains glass there sideways. The last scary space fact talks about the peaceful blue oasis, or planet. Exoplanet HD 189733b is a death sentence from a microscopic point of view, with the wind blowing up to 5,400 miles per hour and molten glass raining down from its sky. Unless you want your eyes to get pierced and basically your whole body, you should erase paying a visit to the exoplanet on your bucket list. It will also be impossible if you still want to, because it is 64.5 light years away from our solar system. Space is scary, but behind its scary demeanor is the excitement that there is more to life here on Earth. In fact, a lifetime is not enough to know the universe like the back of our hands. Do you have any other scary space facts you want us to know? Comment below. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Science Times. See you next time.